And the nerdy news you need to know about. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth's PC debut leads to redemption. Why Avowed didn't let you romance, folks, and a beloved games industry icon has passed away. We'll have all this and more because this is Kinda Funny Games Daily. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Friday, February 21st, 2025. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the Hispanic heartthrob Texas treat, Latino heat, clicking heads and ripping them to shreds, the globe-trotting, head-shotting, three-point shooting, rootin' tootin' nitro rifle from Twitch.tv, Andy Cortez.
Greg Miller, phenomenal. Can we get phenomenal interview with Matt Piscatelli yesterday?
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Great episode.
Who would have known it would be so timely? We talked to Matt about all this stuff yesterday. Today we're talking NPD and all these different things where Matt's being quoted by IGN. A lot of stuff's going on over there.
Perfect timing. I mean, it was a great interview. Very informative. I know you probably think that I'm like, I have a little joke or a troll to come. But
that's not your style.
I thought it was a great episode. Listened to it last night while I was doing some gaming.
Yeah.
Really damn good.
Unredacted?
Great dude. Redacted.
Yeah. I was looking for you on Redacted. I didn't see you on Redacted last night. But I came on it super late. So. Maybe you're already streaming or sleeping. Who knows? Matt Piscatelli, a great dude, yes. And thank you to everybody for all the shout-outs, all the love for that episode. I'm very, very proud of that episode of the Kinda Funny GamesCast. A great one-on-one with Matt Piscatelli from Circana, formerly NPD, talking about the trends in buying, the trends in what we're seeing from publishers, layoffs, what is going on from the stat side, and the way he's able just to rattle them off and shoot them. You know what I mean? Like, he made it so easy to talk to him. I could have gone another hour and a half easy talking about all this.
Bring him back.
Yeah. I want to. Yeah, I want to very much so.
Yeah, what I guess I enjoyed the most about it was that it was just it was numbers, it was stats, it was facts. There wasn't really a whole lot of predicting or assume. I guess like predicting from a feeling side or from.
This is what we're seeing actually. What the market is doing. A lot of market talk. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We're a mature market now, not a growth market. I was like, oh, that's cool. That's cool to hear. And it's actually kind of bad, but it's like good, cool of like, oh, you're saying it in a more adult way than what we say.
Yeah.
We're like, we hit the ceiling. No more gamers. Yeah. No more gamers.
Gamers no more.
Look at people. The gamer, no more.
But he's talking like bull market and stuff like that. He's using those terms that you watch on like, when your grandparents are watching some C-SPAN money or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Great episode.
I like your glasses.
Thank you.
No problem.
They hide the eye bags.
Yeah.
I've started, I've gotten to the point where it's like, it doesn't matter how much sleep I get. I will always look like this.
Yeah. But do you see it? Because like, I have gigantic eye bags, but I just don't even pay attention or think about it. You know what I mean? Kevin, give me the digital zoom. I'll do like the DMV photo where I just stand completely still.
What I want.
Digital zoom's broken.
Digital zoom's broken. What I want.
We don't have that technology anymore.
Maybe we do the eye bag remover on you. We do it on one eyeball.
Sure. Yeah. See how it works.
And
I like
then
that.
like see the difference.
Jen bought me. Because I don't notice them or care, but for some reason I was like, oh, well, they were like miscolored one day. They were discolored.
Your eyes?
The bag.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Because I was like so sick or so tired. I was like, man, maybe I should get like the eye patches. Because that's what I buy, like face masks for Jen's stocking. So she bought me the eye bag thing. I still haven't used them. I should use them. Yeah.
Oh, they're great. Yeah, I love the I had like some jelly ones at one point.
Sure.
No, I just do like, but here's the thing: hyaluronic acid, great for taking away like wrinkles and making them look lively.
Yeah.
All it does is get close to my eyeball, my eyes start to water like at night, or I'll forget that a little bit of residue on my fingers.
Oh no.
Rub the old eyeball. I have like allergic reactions to it.
Yeah. But I don't see it when I look at myself. I just see a very handsome man. Now, granted, it's because I've just been getting better. I've been just getting more handsome. I was so ugly.
Like a wine.
Yeah, wines get handsome with
age. Like a
wine. Let's stop talking about our eye bags and talk about video games instead, because this is Kinda Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday on a variety of platforms, we run you through the nerdy news you need to know about live on youtube.com/kindafunnygames, twitch.tv/kindafunnygames, and podcast services around the globe. If you love what we do, please pick up a Kinda Funny membership. We're an 11-person small business all about live talk shows, and we couldn't do this without your support. Pick up your membership for $10 on patreon.com/kindafunny, youtube.com/kindafunnygames, Apple or Spotify to get all of our shows ad-free, to get the ability to watch the afternoon podcast live as we record it, like we could have yesterday with Predator in Review, where I thought I was doing something special. Because I texted Nick the day before. I'm like, hey, good news. I got face paint and I got Big League Chew. And he's like, great, I'm in. And then when I was like, hey, I'm going to go do my face paint. Are you in? Are you out? He's like, I got to do this stupid thing for the wall, but Andy's in. And I thought he was joking. Like you, and then I came out and you guys had like actual costumes on.
Well, what's funny is like, I saw the Darth Maul makeup.
Yeah.
And I was just going to use the black to do the black stripes on my face. And I was like, Nick, I got black makeup. He was like, oh, so does Greg. I was like, wait, what do you mean? He's like, Greg has makeup for. I was like, oh, nice, cool.
Yeah.
Because I was the one who
you
like
gotta communicate the costume. I would have bought like an army dungaree or something. You know.
Yeah. Well, I just wore the Top Gun outfit.
That's fair.
But I was like, Nick, we should add. You know the way like movie theaters will decorate their spot whenever there's a big premiere
lobby?
or whatever. Yeah, you'll have the lobby kind of themed in some way. I was like, Nick, we should do like a jungle theme.
Yeah.
And so he did it. He was like, well, how would you want Predator to pop up there? And I was like, well, just have him like behind us. He's like, oh, I thought you just meant the front screens. I was like, no. I want like grass everywhere. So I sent him a bunch of, not royalty free, the expensive PNGs.
Yeah.
Google
Please
images.
go check out Predator in Review, part of Alien versus Predator in Review. It is live right now on podcast services, youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. And also that, you could have watched it live with your membership. You can also get a daily dose of me in a series I call Gregway each and every weekday. They're the trees in the front. They're the trees in the back.
There it is.
And Kevin, I'll be honest. Can you go wide to show off the trees even more? The Predator? Just leave it up. It's Predator Day, all right? I want people coming in halfway through the show being like, why is a Predator popping in? Because Predator in Review is live now, youtube.com/kindoffunny. Games, and of course, podcast services around the world under the In Review feed.
It's a little viral marketing right there.
Yeah, we're always letting other people sponsor our stuff. Why don't we sponsor our own stuff?
Exactly.
You know
like
what
when
I mean?
you see Good Morning America and they're talking about a new movie, of course they're going to be themed up the wazoo with it. Barbara Walters is going to be just like Superman,
Barbara Walters like Good Morning America?
Whatever.
All right, whatever. If you got no bucks to toss our way, no big deal, of course. You can get all of our content for free. youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames, Spotify, Apple podcast services around the globe. No matter where you get us, thank you for supporting us. And remember, if you're watching live as we record it, head over to youtube.com/kindoffunnygames where you can super chat along to get your questions and comments read as we go. Just like Alex did, who says, just dropping some dollars because I've got 0 meetings this afternoon, so I get to binge Kind of Funny all day long. Happy Friday, y'all. Happy Friday to you.
That sounds so great. Just like, I'm going to listen to my podcast, play some games.
Yeah.
That sounds lovely.
I love that a lot. Yeah, you know what I mean? Of course, like I said, small business, 11 people, all about live talk shows, which means after Kind of Funny Games Daily, the fun don't stop. You're getting a GameScast, which is all about how much we miss Elden Ring Nightreign. And it's also really about Joey Noel missing it, which is insane. I can't wait to talk to Joey on camera about this, what's going on.
I think it's one of those type of deals where it kind of passed us by because of whatever the timing. Maybe because I previewed it and we were like, we don't need it. But as we were discussing what the game plan was, it's like, well, can we really do a what you've been playing when it's really a lot of redacted games? Yeah. You got Roger playing Hollow Knight, and I've also been, I dabbled with the PGA game that we sort of reviewed a little bit. I'm playing Dark Souls 2, which is definitely not redacted.
No.
But then Joey brought up Elden Ring. It's like, oh shit, we haven't had a full discussion.
Yeah.
And which sucks because I wish Bless and Mike were also here to.
I'll be frank, I'm glad they're not here.
Oh,
just don't like them. You know what I mean? I walk out there, they're just playing Magic. Like, don't you have content to make for me? You know what I mean?
God bless Mike, because I just don't know what he's into. I just like
Mike's just into anything.
Like, but like, if we play a co-op PvE shooter, it becomes boring immediately. That he doesn't like it. He hops off. And
but what you got to do is you're talking about at home, like at night, right?
No, but like even like remember when Helldivers when he just like I got bored of Helldivers too. I don't.
Yeah, but the thing was, since I was excited and I was into Helldivers, he just shut up and played. Yeah, like he was miserable, but he didn't let it know. Like when I'm not there, that's when he'll just shit all over you guys.
Know. Yeah, no, he'll let.
Yeah, but not like the audience. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, because I forgot what we were playing when
like
Kevin,
Kevin
yesterday.
Was like, we're doing the sponsored stream for Scaravan 66. And Kevin just unprompted over and over again, man, the connection isn't as good as it normally is. I'm like, shut up, the sponsors are watching. They don't need to know that something's wrong with the SRT stream. They don't know what that fucking means.
It was a technical thing that like it just kept losing the front, and I wanted to make that clear. It wasn't the game that was doing that. It was our streaming.
You just let it ride.
Remember when Stella was here and I heard, and Stella wanted to play Marvel Rivals, and I heard Kevin ask, you liking this game, Mike? He goes, oh, no, I hate it. Yeah, I don't like it. Yeah, I uninstalled it. But yeah, I'm down to play. Yeah, it sounds good. And then it's like
desperate for friends, man.
But it's totally, it's like
you would think he's an only child.
It's like I'm not hating on the tastes, but then I see him playing Magic with Blessing and reading these cards as if he's reading the Bible, and he's like,
Hey, man.
well, this dinosaur has this, like, wow, because
Good for him.
any other game with reading, it's
Oh
just
no,
like an
yeah,
immediate...
no. Yeah, that's the end
So
of that.
it's more of a confusion, but
Yeah.
I appreciate the, he's a wild card.
He is a wild
never
card.
know.
Like I said, GamesCast about Elden Ring. Then it's going to be Karl Jacobs on Game Showdown. Then the stream is sponsored Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii Takeover with
Great.
me, Joey, and Roger. Roger's going to walk us through and talk about it. Looking
Great
forward to it.
pre-recorded episode of
Is
Game
it?
Showdown.
You'll find out. Is it? You'll find out.
Is it?
Is it? Fucking Tim. Also, of course, this isn't traditional housekeeping, but remember, don't forget, if you're in the Chicagoland area, Blessing and Mike are at MagicCon today. They're going to be around the convention center. You can come and find them and say hi. But if you're in the just greater Chicago area, they'll be holding a meetup at Portillo's off Canal and Taylor at 7:30 p.m. On Friday. So come hang out. Good for them. I hope they eat a lot of hot dogs and send a lot of photos. If you're a Kind of Funny member, you'll be able to get today's Gregway about how everyone else at Kind of Funny duped me and you. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Delaney Twining, Karl Jacobs, Omega Buster, and Karen Lindener. Today we're brought to you by Built Rewards, Factor, and Stash. We'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin the show with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. Time for some news. 5 items on the Roper Report.
Biggerton! Hey, look, it worked.
Crushed it, Kevin. Did you do anything, or is it just back?
No, it's just back. It automatically turns my mic off after. Yeah.
What if you just let the smoke go for 5 seconds or so, so it looks like sort of fog kind of in the area, Kevin? Can we do that?
Kevin, give me about 5 to 15 minutes of fog.
5 seconds.
I'm going to be honest, we can't. This is the longest we can do.
Okay, that's fine.
That's good.
I mean, I can leave it on. It's just.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Kevin, do you think it'd be fine?
It's fine.
No, it's fine.
We can get into the news.
Number 1. This is a long story. No, let it go. I want the audio people have to understand what's happening. All right, great.
I thought it would settle more
It's
down.
quick dissipating.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
good.
It's cool. It's cool.
You don't want to do a fire alarm like I did at PAX that one year.
Yeah, of course.
Like I said, this is a great follow-up to yesterday's Kind of Funny GamesCast, of course, with Circana's Matt Piscatella talking about industry numbers, how he gets them, what his job is, blah, 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 blah. We're going to go through this. This is a long story. So I feel like we can stop and we can talk and we can break it up, and because there's not only are we talking about Final Fantasy's numbers, we're talking about game sales and physical stuff, and then we're talking about the top 20 of the January month anyway. So there's a lot of stuff going on here.
Great.
So we're going to jump in. Your headline reads, after failing to meet expectations at launch, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth shoots to number 3 in U.S. charts with Steam debut. This is the one, the only, Rebecca Valentine at IGN.com. January is always a quiet month for video games, and 2025 was no exception. With only one new game release cracking the top 20 and the predictable domination of Call of Duty, there's little to crow about from last month. ... Except perhaps what may be a comeback story for one of last year's alleged sales disappointments, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth debuted February 2024 to number 2 on Circana's charts, which rank video game dollar sales in the U.S. Which rank video game by dollar sales in the U.S., period. It dropped to number 7 the following month and finished out the year at number 17. While those numbers are respectable, post-launch there were numerous questions about whether or not the game had done well enough for Square Enix tastes, or even especially well in comparison to other major RPGs of the same year, like Dragon's Dogma 2 or its predecessor, Final Fantasy VII Remake. Square Enix ultimately came out saying the game failed to meet sales expectations and never even announced a sales figure, suggesting it hadn't done well enough to brag about. But notably, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth launched as a platform exclusive on PlayStation 5, and exclusives usually face an uphill battle compared to cross-platform releases when it comes to sales. As of January 2025, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is exclusive no more, finally debuting on Steam and shooting up to number 3 on the Circana charts for the month from number 56 in December. The Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth Twin Pack similarly rose from number 265 in December to number 16 in January, thanks to the Steam release. That's not all. Circana analyst Matt Piscatella and GameScast guest pointed out on Blue Sky earlier this month that Rebirth had a quote-unquote fantastic Steam launch. Across physical and tracked digital, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth was the best-selling game of the week ending January 25th in the U.S. market, parentheses, dollar sales, while Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth Twin Pack ranked number 3, end quote. Now, that's just the U.S., but it's likely that this is emblematic of similar sales abroad, which, when combined, could signal to Square Enix that change is needed. This success inevitably invites speculation that swelling sales thanks to PC launch may shift the company's plans for future Final Fantasy releases in a cross-platform launch. I asked Piscatella for his opinion to the situation, and here's what he said. Quote, I mean, it's hard for me to say what impact the Steam release has on publisher perception of overall title success. That's subject to all kinds of internal planning and expectations I'm not privy to, of course, which we talked about in length yesterday. Remember his whole algorithm and green lights and red lights? But purely looking at consumer response, it was a very good launch month on Steam. This launch does provide yet another benchmark that shows releasing on PC makes a ton of sense at this point, regardless of genre or historical release strategies. For third-party publishers, it's looking harder and harder to release exclusively on a single platform without significant incentives provided by the platform holder. We'll just have to wait and see what Square Enix's reaction is at its next relevant earnings call, ... in May. Stay tuned. We'll pause there, because this is where we get into the rest of the charts. Andy Cortez.
Hey, Greg.
You've been a PC guy your entire life.
Mm-hmm.
You just loved it.
Pandemic.
That's what I was driving at, right?
Which is like a second life for me. You know, that's when...
It's crazy to think that you weren't a PC guy before 2020.
Yeah.
Because like you are so you know so much about it now. You're hyper focused on it, I feel.
Man, again, whenever I talk about how early the pandemic was and how little that we were prepped in a way more than a lot of other outlets, but then, you know, I still look at that first review where me, Imran, and Nick and Bless talked about Doom Eternal.
Yeah.
And we did a video-less review. It was just a audio review only on YouTube. But yeah, I played that game on Xbox. So like that's kind of where it all started of my PC journey, getting into, you know, always opening up the Steam things, looking at what's on sale. Now I get it. I finally started to understand what's up with these Steam sales and why do people all get excited about it.
Yeah.
I get it now.
Now you're one of them.
I'm one of them.
What's your take then? You're also a Final Fantasy VII Rebirth fan.
Mm-hmm.
It fared very well, of course, in Game of the Year for us last year. Lots of people backing it, a lot of people loving it. Talk to me about what you get out of these numbers, where you think we're going, and what Square is going to do.
I think this is a super ideal version of what a sort of cross-platform thing is. I think most more recent Sony releases wish that they could kind of mirror this.
Yeah.
And I think early on, the discussions for me always were, if it's exclusive, if it's a timed exclusive on PlayStation only, or if it's a timed exclusive wherever the hell it may be, it comes to PC a year later. Wow, what a great opportunity for them to remarket this game. What a great opportunity to have another kind of blowout online and say, it's coming to PC, everybody.
Sure.
And
another marketing beat.
Yeah, kind of have like another release, essentially, because it really is. It's almost like a movie releasing in a different country. It's like, oh, now it's popping up over here. We're going to have another big boom of sales, right? But I think the more and more that we get, that we fall deeper in this games as a service hole, where people are just kind of where they are in their Fortnite games, they are in whatever games that they spend their time with and spend time with friends in, that those initial sales numbers, it's rarer for them to be impressive to executives. Sure. It's rarer for those initial sales to be like, holy shit, what a big W for us. We're only on PlayStation, and we're going to have another big W whenever it releases on PC. I think if you just looked at those numbers from any other standpoint other than where we're at in this hellhole of more, no money, no dollar amount is enough. Marvel Rivals has 40 million active players, but we're still going to lay off these people. I think if we were in any other era, those numbers are still impressive to them on console, and then they have a PC release. So I'm of two minds on this. I could see this going both ways. I could see a possibility where they say, well, let's just keep on doing this dual release thing. But on the flip side, it's like, well, are you taking too much of a risk there? Because I think so much of what happens in the industry and with social media and the way everything, you know, spreads on Twitter or on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, people inevitably have that FOMO, and people will see that big ass game came out on PlayStation and Xbox, and it's breaking all these records on Steam. Holy shit, I need to get it, right? So it's kind of like, do you want to risk having that second release day that, you know, may or may not, you know, have massive amounts of success, or do you just want to have this one big gigantic release that everybody gets pumped out?
A moment where everyone is playing, and you're talking about, like, Helldivers is a good example. It's not exactly apples to apples since it's PlayStation Studios, but stick with me.
But still, yeah.
Of like, we have the Steam concurrence. They're going fucking crazy. We have PlayStation fans super excited. Nobody's complaining that, or nobody of consequence is complaining that it's on PC as well as PlayStation. Everybody's just playing together and being so excited. And it was this thing, this movement, this groundswell, this thing. Like, I think you have so much more juice putting them all together. And I think, you know, I'm in line right here with Matt and his final quote that Reb has, right? Quote, for third-party publishers, it's looking harder and harder to release exclusively on a single platform without significant incentives provided by the platform holder. I don't know what that looks like. And especially if you're Square Enix and you're talking publicly about, well, this didn't live up to hype. And I know Square never has their expectations, if it seems, set correctly. We, again, talked to Matt about how people come up with those and what they come, you know, in the boardroom have to look at. If that's the case, then I think you look at this and you go, well, this is the way to go, right, for the third one, unless, of course, you're still in some contract with PlayStation that completely disallows that. But for a third party, I just don't know why you wouldn't be putting it everywhere at once and have everyone together. Because when you get to something like this where, hey, Final Fantasy came to PC in January, like, to me, that's an old game, even though I didn't play much of it. And I didn't even pay much attention to it coming to PC. Like, all the PC releases from PlayStation, Spider-Man, whatever, like, it's always just like, oh, okay, cool. Like, and granted, I'm not a PC gamer, I'm not a PC person, but it's just like, there's no fanfare to it. There isn't this hype, this buildup. Like, it's a known quantity. Now it's going to run at an uncapped frame rate and be amazing and look gorgeous, but like, okay.
Well, what's weird is, like, it didn't used to be that way, though. I think with those initial, I'm blanking on what even the first ones were. Maybe it was
Uncharted. You're talking about PlayStation?
Yeah, PlayStation having their big PC sort of crossover games and starting to see that more and more, and for them to be more and more likely, but also for that window to get shorter and shorter.
That's what people are saying.
Horizon Days Gone. I know Ratchet and Clank had their moment as well.
Yeah.
And I think early on those moments felt a lot larger, and maybe it's just because it's Sony stepping out of their.
I 100% think it was that. Yeah. It was the fact of, holy shit, this PlayStation exclusive is coming to PC. That's insane. That was the thing, and then it was like the numbers were never great. They were great. I went 100,000, 128,000 for some reasons hung in my head right now. Maybe I'm thinking of God of War. I don't know. But I remember them being like, okay, well, yeah, sure, whatever. But it was always the thing of like,
about concurrence, right?
Yeah,
not sales.
Yeah. It was like cool. This is something that's happening and is unheard of. And now that, like, again, Spider-Man 2 just dropped like last week, and it's got a bunch of problems that they've patched out and fixed. But like, okay,
yeah, it does feel like they are getting less and less. They're becoming less and less exciting, and I do think that that's because of just timing. I think you have to capture that moment. I think you have to. I would not be surprised if we saw Sony starting to make those calls.
And that's the jump. Where it's like, if you're a third party, I can't imagine why you're not doing this. I understand the answer is money and marketing. Like, there's a lot of stuff. Like, remember, that's what happens. Why do you get a state of play about GameX? Why did we get a state of play about fucking Suicide Squad, right? Well, it's because they entered into a marketing agreement with PlayStation to provide them. PlayStation gives us the marketing. We give you this exclusive content or whatever it is. We're PlayStation Plus, whatever the fucking deal was. I don't even know if we ever knew. Great, cool. Same thing here with Final Fantasy, right? We're going to give you a boatload of money for it to help you offset your development costs, and we're going to treat it like a first-party game and put it in X number of showcases and directs or whatever, do these kind of ads, this kind of placement on the store, etc., TV commercials, like, they'll end with the PlayStation logo. That's all happening and great, but it's like, the sales are a disappointment to Square? Was the financial equation a disappointment to Square? Are they happy in the end with the amount of money they made off of Final Fantasy Rebirth? And then you get this double dip, which is a good thing. Over here, Volk Dasher super chats and said, and I don't know Volk Dasher from a hole in the wall, right? But PC games are a few. I'm sorry.
Very rude thing to say about Volk Dasher.
PC sales are a few 100,000 last I heard. With that, PlayStation 5 sales of 3 to 4 million still would fail expectations. No one cares for the 50 copies Xbox would have sold. This is not an exclusive question. This is a Square problem, which I do agree with. I do think Square has unrealistic expectations for most of their games. As we talk about with like Tomb Raider and all this other shit, which I know they don't have anymore. But when they did, they were very, this game came out, we all loved it, critically acclaimed, and they were like, just didn't meet expectations. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, who's making these expectations?
Yeah. It's a very weird, like, I'm totally with you that I think third parties will continue to do this more and more. This just feels like the only way to have a win to present to the God Emperor CEOs and shareholders and say, like, look at how successful this is, and you should trust us for upcoming projects as well.
Yeah.
Because if you're not having that big initial win, it really discourages people. I think, obviously, with it doing as well as it is now, especially with this bundle pack on PC, like, all of that stuff is fantastic news. And a sign that, the consumerist sort of train of thought on PC is maybe a bit healthier than I thought it would be. And that's why early on when we're talking about how much I loved Prince of Persia Lost Crown, and it's like, again, it may not have sold a boatload of copies on PC, but there's a healthy amount of people, like Matt Piscatella talking about you on the podcast, or talking on the podcast with you about the age groups and certain people with, maybe without kids that have disposable income. There's such a market for people out there that scroll Steam and go, I always wanted to give that a shot. Let me buy it. We talk all the time about people's unplayed Steam libraries.
Yeah.
That's because people are buying games, and people are still buying games on Steam. And I think it would just be a really dumb decision to not continue to do these multi-platform releases. Even if you're not doing it on Xbox as well, maybe. Like, I think PC has to be a must, especially because the PC market is booming more and more than we've seen in the past.
Yeah. PC gaming is crushing and will continue to crush. And I think I keep talking. When do you think we're getting the next Steam Deck? That's my big thing right now.
I think this year we see an announcement for it.
Yeah. Because I'm ready for a new Steam Deck.
Yeah, I mean, I think especially with how quickly the OLED version came out.
Yeah, exactly, right. And I didn't do that because I just bought the original one.
Yeah.
But now I've committed and I play enough Steam Deck all the time that I'm like, when the next one comes, I can justify paying for that.
Are you still a little kind of nervous about the Asus or the Lenovo? Is that more of like, no, I want the Steam Deck experience. It's friendlier.
That's the biggest thing for me is I don't know what I don't know. And so I know Steam Deck and I know the Steam interface and I use it quite often. And I think it's so simple for everything we do. We got ROG Ally, right? Or ROG Ally, right?
Mm-hmm.
They sent me and Blessing one. Mine, unfortunately, arrived broken where like I can't charge it. So I can't turn it on. And so I need to send it back. But I've been on DICE and this and that. So I haven't had time to actually do it. I'd love to test it out and kick the tires. But again, Steam Deck is turnkey.
We were wondering why it was just under your desk looking like a discarded toy.
Yeah. I don't want to play with you anymore.
Yeah, Roger was like, man, look at this thing. He just like left it. Like, it's just...
Yeah, I can't charge it. It's
damn,
broken.
that's unfortunate.
It's going to happen. No big deal. They've been great about it. They're like, just send it here, do this thing, but I haven't had any time to do it.
I mean, it would have been awesome for something like Avowed, where it's like, I don't want to have to install the Xbox app on my Steam Deck,
Sure. Well, that was the whole thing, and that's why, of course, our friends at Razer hooked me up with that Razer Blade 18. That was the whole thing.
Yes.
I was like, I wanted to run. I was thinking about it, but I didn't want to dual boot or whatever this shit. So I was like, wait a second. You guys loaned me a laptop. They're like, sure, of course. And I loved that thing. I loved that. And now they got a 16 coming out this year. I'm like,
you don't need a gigantic suitcase to haul around that 18-inch.
Well, I still showed it in my backpack. Don't worry about it.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. Look, I mean, you imagine, you understand. You've seen me on an airplane. I look like what I envisioned Langley and Neely to look like, right? I'm 6'3". I'm like hunched in this little spot. Imagine me then when I dragged out the 18-inch laptop and folded it open.
No way.
Oh yeah,
you did that.
I was playing about the Wolverine underneath the tray table, but I'm all like hunched in, like
no way.
The guy next to me was playing a fucking mobile game. I'm over here, and I got the giant headset on. I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking living.
That's
right
insane.
Now.
That's psycho behavior,
dude. I want them. If I can have that great. I mean, you've seen me with the X screen from my Xbox Series S.
Yeah,
I bust that shit out on the plane too, and it's also like I'm gigantic, and I have the tray, and then I fold this thing up in front of my face. I'm just like sitting there like that. I'm a gamer, bro.
That's why I wanted the 14-inch Asus. That's why I bought this sucker, because I was like, I don't want the 16-inch laptop. It's too heavy. It's too large.
Yeah.
Takes up too
How do you
much
like
space.
this thing?
I love it. I mean, but it's mainly for the smaller form factor.
Yeah.
You know, because I had the framework laptop before that. You heard that too.
The
right?
sirens are on
I
our end.
thought it was a cat or something. I had originally bought that framework laptop thinking, yeah, it'll probably be good for basic ass games. I'm not trying to run anything wild on it, but it wasn't even really prepped for basic ass games. So I returned that sucker, bought this guy, and it's like I just want to be able to play something like Hades on it.
Sure.
I'm not trying to
Sure.
play with ray tracing maxed out or whatever. Just let me play a little indie game here or there. I love it for that. Yeah, I've used it on my last several trips.
I like that. We have conversations here. I want to get into. I don't want to push up because there's more of Reb's thing here, right? Because we're going to move away from this. Yelsing says it didn't sell 50 million copies, so it's a fail for Square. Understandable again with how they are. James says, how much does the recent negativity towards games play into sales anymore? Gamers' negativity towards games is at an all-time high. This is an interesting question. One you can only hypothesize on, I imagine. You can't come in here and be like, oh, this is that, blah, blah, blah. I would say not at all. I think that gamers have always been a negative Nancy bunch who want to obsess and be weird about weird shit. And I think that the overwhelming majority of people don't even know that gamers are bad. They're just like, I play my game and do my thing. Barrett's here with a box of donuts that's already been out there. What's going on?
Are you trying to kill us? Why are you doing this every week? Why are you doing this to us?
Why are you looking at me?
I assume it was you.
You should not assume that. I would only get a Krispy Kreme.
This was Kevin? Kevin, are you trying to kill us?
I don't do it every week. I do it like every 2 to 3 weeks.
But then if you do it every 2 weeks and then Andy does it every 2 weeks, then we're getting it every week.
I get real scared. I always am like, should I text Andy? Be like, hey, I'm bringing donuts. Don't bring donuts.
Wasn't there one morning where both of you got donuts? That's great.
No, there was one morning, where specifically, I think it was maybe anniversary stream.
No.
Where I do want one, but I'll need napkins. I'll eat it out there. But it was anniversary stream where, like Joey the night before was like, I'm going to bring bagels. I'm like, awesome. And then that morning, like,
I brought donuts, and she was like, damn, I brought donuts too because the bagels weren't available.
Yeah.
He's had a shitload of donuts.
A lot of donuts. It's a great time around here. Except Tim, who also hates. Tim's the same way of like, oh, they're going to kill us.
Dude.
Oh, I hate him.
Good. That was good. Anyways, thank you for the donuts, Kevin.
Yeah, man, no problem.
Thank you, Kevin.
All right, I'm going to move on just in this next part of the thing. We can get back maybe at the end. Moving on with Reb's report about NPD, a.k.a. Sarkana, I should say. As for the rest of the charts, it will surprise no one that Call of Duty Black Ops 6 was the best-selling game of the month again, followed by Madden NFL 25. The only new release cracking the top 20 in January was Donkey Kong Country Returns on Nintendo Switch, which reached number 8 purely on the basis of physical sales.
What?
Parentheses, Nintendo does not share digital sales data for its eShop.
Holy
so you can only imagine
shit.
it would have been a lot higher probably based on
I got to assume Seth Rogen bought like 30 million copies. You know?
Of course, he wants to make it happen.
That's crazy.
He wants to be
me.
that sunken-eyed Donkey Kong in Mario Kart.
Wow, that's impressive.
Also notable was the return of It Takes Two to the top 20 in spot 20. There's no single reason for this, Piscatella told me. Quote, there have been promotions happening during the month, including the last week of January on both PlayStation Store and eShop, he said. But really, It Takes Two had pretty steady sales all month. But it was in December that It Takes Two really started its latest rally, with both sales and engagement upticks that extended into January, end quote. Notably, much of the promotion for It Takes Two comes ahead of the release of Hazelight Studios' next game, Split Fiction, releasing in March. Quick aside there.
Damn.
Fuck yeah, It Takes Two. I love the fact that, again, people are paying enough attention to announcements, Game Award things, you assume if it's starting in December, sales. Like, you love to see it actually work. We talk about the marketing of a video game failing all the time, but the idea that, like, they nailed this. They knew what they were doing, and they got it in the right thing, and the build up to this. But I was shocked as well. We're always the next thing. The new game. Most of the time when we talk to people about video games, I'm talking to somebody who is excited for the next thing, the current thing, whatever, right? Some a peer in our space, kind of funny best friend. Of course, we are selling over on kindoffunny.com/store the Portillo pasta. A collaboration with our friend Tony from Mill Valley Pasta. And I stopped into the shop the other day when I was off with Ben. We were out running errands, right? I drove up there. And went in there, was talking to him, and he was like, yeah, you know, my brother's visiting. So I come home, and he's playing my Switch, and he's playing Zelda, and he's playing it terribly. He's just not, he's not a gamer.
Right.
He's not good. He's like,
it's one of those, like, well, how have they evolved, you know, since I've tried it out?
He's like,
you know?
do you have any recommendations for a game we could play together? He's like, I don't want to, he's not going to be good at, I'm like, stop you right there. It Takes Two. Go get It Takes Two. He's like, what's that? I'm like, you're this couple that's about to divorce, and you have to work on you. He's like, oh, this is great because I hate my brother. I'm like, great, then you'll have this is gonna fix the family.
And you buy one of them suckers, and it's good for both of you.
Well, he's playing on Switch, right? Local. Did I sell him a game that isn't local? Shit. No, they must have local on Switch.
No, on Switch. Yeah, maybe.
They must.
Yeah, I'd assume so. Yeah, you know what? It is.
That'd be awesome. He buys. God damn it!
But your brother leaves town. Still play with him.
Sure. Yeah.
You know.
Well, then he's got to buy a Switch. He's not a gamer.
Oh, he doesn't have a Switch.
See
Got you.
Orphan says, yeah, it was local. Thank you very much.
I just feel like at this point, a Switch is like owning
ubiquitous.
Owning a goddamn Aura frame, like a picture frame or something like that. Yeah,
Aura frames are dope.
That's obviously incredibly impressive that It Takes Two is able to have another explosion. And what I also think it kind of, what I also think that these numbers are showing is that there are more and more people since that game came out that are either getting back into gaming or because we hear it all the time and I'm always still impressed by it, of people going, I started listening to y'all in 2022 or 2023.
Yeah.
2024. It's like, oh shit, really? That's pretty recent. Which could also mean that obviously there's other content creators way bigger than us that have the same effect on people, where people just hop in the last couple of years, and maybe your audience isn't all people that have been gaming their whole lives. Maybe it's people falling back into it, and then they hear Split Fiction's coming out, and everybody goes, holy shit, the next game from the Game of the Year creators.
Yep.
This game is incredible. And people go, oh shit, I should go maybe play that old game. And of course, it does well and it sells like hotcakes. That's wild, because I think that they're in the double digit millions, right, of sales.
For It Takes Two?
Yeah,
I would hope so.
I think they were like 15 million, or was it 25? There was they had a number that was really shocking to me, especially when you consider
20 million units as of October 2024.
Especially when you consider that you could just buy one game and play with a friend somewhere else, which is incredible. What a great success story in a industry that doesn't have a whole lot of those wins that we can
100%.
Really kind of
and
point
again to talk about and just totally put over Joseph Ferris and Hazelight, a studio that's committed to one thing. This is what we believe in. This is what we want to do. These are the games we're going to make. We're not going to go do a live service, whatever. We're not going to do this thing. We're making games that you play co-op, and you can only play co-op because that's the way you play it.
And in our trailer, we are going to say, no microtransactions, no bullshit.
Yeah.
We're a studio who likes to fuck shit up without fucking up, or whatever it is that he said, which is awesome.
Something like that, yeah.
I mean, again, it's kind of a bummer to not be able to point to a lot of dubs that aren't gigantic conglomerate that owns a million studios, and to say, well, obviously they're doing great, they have a lot of budget and stuff behind this, but it's really, really awesome to see something, a success story like It Takes Two, which starts off as the EA Originals kind of tiny indie thing that then kind of explodes.
Well, started as brothers, right? When nobody knew what the hell was going on. Now here we are, the precipice of Split Fiction next month, which is just next week, which is crazy.
So exciting. And then you're watching, freaking Westworld. You're like, oh, it's his brother in Westworld season 2. Joseph Fares' his brother.
I didn't know this. Who is he in Westworld season 2? I watched Westworld season 2.
He's an actor. If you just look, I think his name is Fares actually.
Anyways, Split Fiction is almost upon us, and
we'll
of course be reviewing it and talking about it here on Kind of Funny Games because of your support. If you love the live shock shows we do each and every weekday, head over to patreon.com/kindoffunny, youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, Spotify or iTunes to pick up your Kind of Funny membership and support us. Get all of our shows ad-free, get the ability to watch the afternoon podcast, and of course get your daily dose of me, Greg Miller, in a series I call Gregway. But guess what? You're not using your benefits right now, so here's a word from our sponsor.
This episode is brought to you by Built. Y'all already know I'm a big points and rewards guy, but here's a PSA for anyone who rents. If you haven't heard of Built, you're about to thank me. Earning points on rent is now a reality when you pay your rent through Built. There's no cost to join Built, and as a member, you will earn valuable points on rent and on your everyday spending. Built points can be transferred to your favorite hotels and airlines, and even the ones you haven't heard of. There are over 500 airlines and 700,000 hotels and properties around the world you can redeem your Built points toward. Points can also be redeemed towards a future rent payment and unique experiences that only Built members can access. So if you're not earning points on rent, my question is, why not? Start earning points on rent you're already paying by going to joinbuilt.com/kindafunny. That's joinbilt.com/kindafunny. Make sure to use our URL so they know we sent you. Joinbuilt.com/kindafunny to start earning points on your rent payments today. That's BILT. This episode's brought to you by Factor. Ready to optimize your nutrition this year? Factor has chef-made gourmet meals that make eating well easy. They're dietitian approved and ready to heat and eat in 2 minutes, so you can fuel right and feel great no matter what life throws at you. Greg Miller's been loving how simple it is to enjoy his Factor meals as he's rushing between shows each day here at Kinda Funny. Factor arrives fresh and fully prepared, perfect for any active, busy lifestyle. With 40 options across 8 dietary preferences on the menu each week, it's easy to pick meals tailored to your goals. Choose from preferences like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, or Keto. Multiple people here at Kinda Funny have been loving their experience with Factor, and you can too. Eat smart with Factor. Get started at factormeals.com/factorpodcast and use code FACTORPODCAST to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's code FACTORPODCAST at factormeals.com/factorpodcast to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. This podcast is brought to you by Stash. Saving and investing can feel impossible, but with Stash, it's not just a reality, it's easy. Stash isn't just an investing app. It's a registered investment advisor that combines automated investing with dependable financial strategies to help you reach your goals faster. They'll provide you with personalized advice on what to invest in based on your goals, or if you want to just sit back and watch your money go to work, you can opt into their award-winning expert-managed portfolio that picks stocks for you. Stash has helped millions of Americans reach their financial goals and starts at just $3 per month. Don't let your savings sit around. Make it work harder for you. Go to get.stash.com/kindafunny to see how you can receive $25 towards your first stock purchase and to view important disclosures. That's get.stash.com/kindafunny. Paid non-client endorsements, not representative of all clients and not a guarantee. Investment advisory services offered by Stash Investments LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Investing involves risk. Offer is subject to T&Cs.
And we're back with some breaking news. That's right. If you all want to open up your browsers and go to TonyHawkTheGame.com, it's official. 03.04.25, and there is a countdown clock. We are counting down to whatever they are teasing, which we assume is Tony Hawk 3+4. Are you excited, Andy?
I'm excited for Tim.
I'm excited for Tim as well. He, of course, freaked out yesterday on the show. No, 2 days ago? Or whatever. He's freaked out on the show this week.
Yeah, I mean, I respect these games, Greg.
Yeah, you do.
I
You respect a lot of things. And I respect that about
their
you.
lineage.
Yeah.
More importantly, I respect women. You know?
Okay. You lost me on where we're going now.
I'm a respecter of a lot of things, Greg.
Okay. Okay.
But I just, these games don't do a whole lot for me anymore like they used to back in the day.
Yeah.
Similar to like a car combat twisted metal game or like a road rage.
Okay.
It's just a genre that I don't think I've really grown with, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm excited it's back. It's something I want to hop into and just kind of have that nostalgia because these games meant a lot to me as a kid. And, you know, when we had that one game showdown question asking name a skater from Tony Hawk, and I said Andrew Reynolds and it wasn't on the list, I was pissed off.
That upset
but
you.
that was also me showing you my Tony Hawk
knowledge.
acumen, you know?
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Are you excited for this?
No, I'm excited for Skate. I was always a Skate guy. For Tony Hawk, I didn't like Tony Hawk, and I know I'm crazy until Underground, where it was like, oh, we're off the board, we're running around, we're doing things, there's a narrative. I didn't just like the combos and the tricks and stuff. That was never my shtick.
Damn, because it felt like it was just so brand new when that thing came out.
Yeah.
That it was, nothing had done this. So I think that it kind of reminds you of like, it was the Guitar Hero of extreme sports.
Sure.
There had been a lot of stuff before it, but this was like the thing that I feel like normalized what the extreme sports sort of combo game was.
Okay. Cool. We'll find out in 10 days and sometime there, March 4th, right around the corner. More breaking news from You're Wrong. Gresnick writes in to say Barbara Walters died in 2022.
Rest in peace.
Didn't know that. We missed that. Good thing we still got Hugh Downs. Moving on to number 2 on the Roper Report. I texted Tim the link while we were in ad break. He just responds back, holy fucking shit. I can't believe it. Number 2 on the Roper Report. Avowed director explains why the game has no romance options. This is Blair Marnell at GameSpot. The option to romance NPC characters in RPGs has been around for a long time, and even recent titles like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 offer that feature to players. However, Avowed is bucking that trend by almost completely removing players' ability to court their companions. According to Avowed director Carrie Patel, she made the decision to downplay romance because she felt it takes away from the experience of playing the game. While appearing on IGN's Unlocked podcast. Is it not? Is it the podcast Unlocked, right? No, that's probably
Podcast Unlocked. Yeah.
Why is GameSpot dragging the name? Why are they screwing up the name?
I mean, they don't respect people for sure.
While appearing GameSpot? While appearing on IGN's podcast Unlocked, Patel revealed that she believes the romantic options in RPGs, quote, undermine that core experience, end quote, and practically invite players to focus more on the romance than the story or even the characters themselves. Instead, Patel favored a more natural form of bonding with the player's companions that doesn't end with 2 characters in bed. Quote, my hope with players and their companion relationships in Avowed is that they would feel natural and players would get out of them exactly what they want and exactly as much as they put in, she said. She added that it is supposed to be like, quote, you're getting to know some new friends, end quote. The decision made Avowed an outlier in the genre, especially since Baldur's Gate 3 had so many romantic options to choose from. Thus far, Xbox Game Studios and Obsidian Entertainment haven't announced how many copies Avowed has sold since its release on February 18th. The game received a Day 1 patch earlier this week to address some issues found in it. The developers have previously explained why Avowed isn't an open-world game, but fortunately, there is still a lot of territory that can be explored. Andy Cortez, Nitro Rifle. You and I loved Avowed.
I'm liking it a lot more now.
I was wondering about that. I 7.5 did, of course. Paris gave it a 9.5. You at the time gave it a 7. I was wondering if you've played more from the review.
Yeah, I have, yes.
Okay.
And everything in the third world is in that third little land or whatever is just Shatterscarp has just like, oh, this is what I wanted the whole time. I'm enjoying it a lot more around this time.
Has your asterisk score moved at all? You still saying 7?
I'd push it up to like a 7.5 now.
Nice, okay.
Maybe by the end of the journey, it'll be an 8.
Well, you're still with me at 7.5. A good game.
But also, maybe if I switch to magic spells, watching Nick played yesterday with the magic spells, I was like, oh, man.
Yeah.
This is a really cool
lot of choices.
class. I wish I could have
About a really cool game. I
think it's awesome.
A 7.5 I really enjoyed. I'm glad so many people are connecting with it. I appreciate the criticisms. None of my criticisms were ever romance related.
Same.
It's that thing where, when we did the hot takes episode or whatever, I remember Imran wrote in, I believe, or maybe called in.
It was
whatever
Imran,
it was.
yeah.
But he wasn't on the show, right? It was something he did. He wrote in of like romance options in games are dumb. And as much as I love a romance option here and there, I agree that oftentimes they are very forced, and you get to the culmination. It really doesn't feel like I've made a connection. So it's like I did not miss it in Avowed at all.
Yeah, I don't know if it was even something I was expecting, knowing that this was always meant to be a more truncated, smaller kind of fantasy RPG. Yeah. I knew it wasn't going to be this long, massive, gigantic world that you can simulate a fantasy life. Like I don't think that's what they were ever going for. And so I was never really surprised by that. I think my complaints were mainly like, man, I wish I loved my NPCs more.
That's my thing where, Carrie's very much like, oh, yeah, we wanted you. And like, that didn't work for me. The 4 companions I have no connection to. I don't care.
Watching Nick replayed yesterday, that little blue son of a gun, Garrick,
the
little tiny
from the very beginning. Yeah.
I'm like, man, I wish you were just a dude. I wish you stayed in the party.
Yeah.
It breaks my heart that
you had to kill him.
No, it just breaks my heart that like he left the party. I was like, man, I really enjoyed it.
What did Nick think yesterday on the stream? Did he enjoy it?
He really enjoyed it. Yeah, he's gonna stream it again next week.
Fantastic.
Because it was a Nvidia sponsored stream showing off the visuals because that game looks really really damn good. But then he was like, oh, whatever, I'll just play it again next week. I think it's a fun game. I never had an issue with not having any romanceable options in this game, and I don't even think that that's necessarily something that I need from a whole lot of RPGs, but if it's there, I don't mind it at all, right?
It's a system, but I think that's the thing was when you make it a system, it actually works against it in a lot of ways. What I did like about Avowed was spoilers, not really, but I guess so if you want nothing about whatever. Eventually, you're having a conversation in the game as your character, and they ask you if there's someone waiting for you at home. And you have a myriad of choices that, I have somebody waiting for me. I've loved and lost. No, I've never known love. And I was like, I like that better, where I'm already crafting a narrative in my head for my envoy of what it was like with the Emperor based on the story. And so then to give you stakes in the game in a different way of like, am I also inventing a relationship or none or whatever?
Yeah.
I like that part.
But Yosley, do you want to like have some fun while your husband watches? I wish that was
and
an
she
option.
Would. To be very clear, that is very in her lane.
A little freak.
She's a freak. She's very public.
Ready for those mods to pop up on Nexus mods.
If you would like to see more Avowed gameplay, apparently Nick is streaming it next week, but the one and only Foxy Steve in the chat said they are streaming it this weekend on Twitch. So go follow Foxy Steve with 2 X's and watch that before Foxy Steve also spends the weekend playing with their goddaughter. So there you go.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Another beautiful thing.
How do you know so much about Foxy Steve?
I caught the comment and I thought, I'll throw that in there. I like to do that. I like to take care of people. Another beautiful thing for me, a console gamer. Who says PCs? Who needs it? Number 3 on the Roper Report. Some games run better on older GPUs than on Nvidia's new 50 series cards. This is Hayley Williams at GameSpot. Is Hayley Williams also the singer of Paramore?
Exactly.
That's
right.
awesome. What a dual threat.
Game journalism.
Hayley, you need it on stage. I gotta file this Nvidia report for GameSpot, everybody. NVIDIA's new 50 series graphics cards just aren't as good at running certain older games as previous hardware generations were, some PC gamers have discovered. With its latest generation of GPUs, NVIDIA has quietly removed support for physics, a physics simulation technology that we used in a number of popular titles in the early 2010s. In a Reddit post, as spotted by The Verge, one user questioned why PhysX was suddenly turned off by default, and when turned on, was forced to run the CPU, causing major performance issues in games designed for GPU-enhanced PhysX. Responding to a post on the NVIDIA forums, the company confirmed that PhysX has effectively been discontinued due to NVIDIA ending support for the 32-bit CUDA application. Is that how you say it?
CUDA.
I'm going to say CUDA. Because
coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Yeah.
You know?
Coulda, shoulda, woulda bought a PlayStation. You know what I mean? Applications for the 50 series graphics cards in future generations. While the end of the support for the 32-bit CUDA was noted in a brief support article, NVIDIA never explicitly mentioned the impact to PhysX or noted which games might be impacted by the sunsetting of this technology. Now, Andy, I got 3 more paragraphs, but I'd rather just get you here. Does this do anything for you as a PC guy? You worried about this?
I mean, when we're talking about game preservation, sure. Yeah, you know, a lot of the upside of PC gaming is that, man, you know, with emulation and lots of other means of, you know, you could play a lot of games that aren't available for sale anymore, which is always a nice thing, especially when these games are taken off the market and delisted or copyright, you know, issues with music soundtracks. No, there's a lot of ways to play these games still. Yeah, it certainly sucks a lot to not be able to play older games in life. It doesn't personally affect me because I don't do that. But you also sort of have to think about not being able to play a Super Nintendo game if you don't have a Super Nintendo. That stuff sort of makes sense to me, but we're talking about older games that still should work on PC. Now, you know, I've seen it a million times where you try to just download an old executable file, run it on your new thing, and it's like Windows 11 is like, I don't know what to do with this, man. Like,
yeah.
And so I'm probably not the best to talk about this hardware-wise because it is more of a recent thing for me. But yeah, it definitely sucks. You would want these games to be able to run on more recent or older hardware, but yeah, it's a bummer.
To close out the article here, or at least our reading of it, Paramore's Hayley Williams from GameSpot does say previous NVIDIA generations, including the 40, the 30, and the 20 series, will continue to support 32-bit CUDA applications, meaning gamers who want to play them may be better to stick to an older graphics card for the time being. If you have that room full of graphics cards like Kev does.
Yeah.
You know, you want to go back, you want to play the Batman Arkham trilogy.
That's what you get when you let your heart win.
That was good.
A good song, man.
Number 4, some sad news. Beloved game veteran Carter Lipscomb passes away. This is Dean Takahashi at GamesBeat. Carter Lipscomb, a game industry veteran with a big personality, has passed away. Carter's family has made a post on his behalf, and it was written in Carter's own cheerful voice. Quote, "My family knows that if this ever happened, then to write this note on my behalf and keep it light and keep it real, but keep it real light. I hope they did right by me, he said. On LinkedIn, Carter's profile shows that he was Doctor Business and Business Development Specialist at Iron Galaxy Studios since 2019. Before that, he was Director of Publisher Relations for Sony Interactive Entertainment for 11 years. Carter always had a way of making people feel comfortable. Carter was also co-founder of the video game Supper Club in San Francisco. They invited scores of people to the club's dinners at the House of Prime Rib. And this is Dean, and I spent many an evening congregating with the friends of Carter Lipscomb. Like many in the video game community, I saw Carter at... I keep saying Carter because I always knew him as Carter. I don't like saying his last name here. I'm just being weird about it, but whatever. I saw Carter at the recent DICE Summit in Las Vegas, where he gave me one of his bear hugs. On Carter's Facebook page, former Iron Galaxy's co-CEO Adam Boyes wrote in the post, quote, "This is the greatest Carter post he never wrote. I loved him so much, and we were all so lucky to have met him and for him to have blessed our lives. R.I.P., brother." The cause of death wasn't disclosed, but Carter had a history of heart disease. He collapsed during a run some years ago and was resuscitated by a good Samaritan who knew CPR. There was an outpouring of game community support at the time. Simon Jeffrey, former head of Sega of America, wrote, quote, There can be very few, if any, who in this business have befriended and been loved back by more people than Carter. Whether it be humorous Carter or serious Carter, he, across decades, has been a positive force of nature for the games industry. When you heard his big Carter voice, when you walked into his party or gathering, that's where you would head. Rest in peace, you incredible man. The industry will never know your like again, and is a sadder, emptier place because of it. Game veteran Michael Chang wrote, Carter, the gentleman, the myth, the legend. Such tremendous warmth, enthusiasm, and passion, you will be missed. And then Sean Layden, former chairman of Sony Interactive Entertainment Worldwide Studios, said in a message, quote, the one person in gaming everyone loved, end quote. So super sad, unexpected news yesterday. I know for many of you, you do not know Carter. I knew Carter through a group of friends, right? Through people. I was never very close to him, but I did know him, and I obviously am very sad for his passing, but more, of course, well, I shouldn't say more. I'm sad for his passing, but it's more seeing my friends right now deal with the unexpected death of someone they were also close to, right? Like, this hits home for a lot of people in the industry right now. Carter was a great guy. Every time I was talking to him, I had a great interaction with him. So, a very, very sad one.
Was it one of those things at events where it's more of an 100%,
yeah. And you see it, I mean, SIE, Iron Galaxy, like, you see him running with the boys crew, the John Drakes, the everybody else, the John Vignacchis, right? Like, he was part of that crew, the Gio Corsi crew. It was actually Gio's Instagram post yesterday where I was like, whoa, what happened? You know, that's very unexpected.
Very, very sad.
Of course, you know, thoughts and all the love in the world to his family, his friends, and everybody who's touched by this death. Now, usually we would do a transition very goofy to the Wii News. We won't do that. We'll just read the Wii News.
Makes sense.
Which is number 5, the Wii News. Tales of the Shire has been delayed to July 29th. And then, Kevin, I have 2 trailers I'd like to watch with you. First off, Shotgun Cop Man trailer. And then Lego Fortnite Brick Life Gardener update. So if we could start with Shotgun Cop Man trailer. This is one that's turning heads. People are excited for this. Do you remember who it's from?
I thought I saw Devolver in the tweet.
Okay, well, here we go. We'll have to watch it here, maybe with some sound.
I don't know who developed it, but I know that it's Devolver Publishing. Freeze, Satan, you're under arrest. Oh,
My Friend Pedro creator. That's what I was talking about.
Fuck you, Shotgun Cop Man.
And Devolver Digital, yeah.
Oh, he used the gun for traversal. Okay, that's neat.
This looks awesome.
I never played My Friend is Pedro.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I only did the demos of it. It wasn't my kind of game, but this looks more like my kind of game. If you're an audio listener, very simple, stick figure-y.
I mean, he looks kind of like Kingpin.
Yeah. Just
a wide fella.
Using him. I like that a lot.
Weird art style, but I think
it's
really kind of cool and unique looking.
And then the other one I want to do is Lego Fortnite Brick Life Gardener update. As you remember, a while back, Fortnite put all these different modes in there. One was Brick Life, the Lego like just run around town thing that I played for a night, and I was like, all right, this is pretty basic. And now they've added this gardener thing apparently, where you can garden.
Is it a?
Do you want to come garden? Andy, let's garden tonight.
I don't want to particularly, but like, is it just you playing on a server? Is it multiplayer? Like, open?
It's multiplayer. I don't know if I have a
What was that accent right there?
Because you're like a server, I'm like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of the one time I booted into it, like what happened. I don't remember it being like pick a server and do that kind of thing.
Full ass lobby type deal.
Yeah, there's people running around your world,
Okay.
so like, yeah, I don't know how you do that.
I don't want
Open
them-
server, says Alex. Thank
I
you,
don't want
Alex.
them gardening near me.
You don't want them growing that stuff?
No.
I like that Roger in the chat says, this is such a Roger Percordi game, and then followed up in parentheses, not Lego. Like it switched too quick on him, you know what I mean? Not going to get me back to Brick Life, but I'm glad they're adding things to it. One day maybe Brick Life will be awesome. We just want PlayStation Home.
It seemed like the type of game that was just gone, that kind of came out, people tried it out and said, all right. But yeah, great for them to... If anything, Greg, it's just people are employed and working on something.
I'll take that.
And
I'll
that's
take that
always
any day of the
good
week.
news.
I'll take that any day of the week. We ask people watching live on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames and twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames to go to youtube.com/kindoffunnygames and give us money in the form of super chats to be part of the show. I want to get a few in here. Zeke Speak super chat and said, been pretty sad recently. Hard time finding hope in America. The fact that this show exists, pro-worker, pro-art, pro-human, and that it actively supports other shows like it, Mid-Max and Aftermath, gives me hope. Thank you all. Hang in there, Zeke Speak. We're happy to be here for you and try to distract you from the horrors of the world. Volk Dasher says, side note in a super chat, what's the better way for KF peeps? YouTube member or Patreon? I always go back and forth, but usually pay Patreon. Happy to pay for YouTube. Of course, getting a Kind of Funny membership is above and beyond 99% of what people who consume the conversation do. So do what you got to do, whatever serves you the best. In a real, honest way, Patreon by a long, long, long way is way better for us. I want to say the cut there is 90-10, but that might not even be correct. I'm speaking way out of school because I don't deal with Patreon. It might even be like 97-3, whereas anything with Apple is going to be 70-30, like if we were using the thing. And I think that's the same for... Well, I don't know about Spotify. I'm sure it's not. I know Patreon is the best way to support us. Oh, YouTube is bad, yeah. So yeah, if you can, Patreon's the best fucking way. If you can't, do it however you do. Don't feel bad about it. Thank you for supporting us, period. Like, subscribe, share.
Agreed.
Jordan White has a final one here. Continued rumor that Elder Scrolls 6 will be in Hammerfall and shown in the summer. If the news is true, this is the best Black History Month ever. What if it's summer? This is just a rumor right now.
Well, what if the rumor comes true this month?
The rumor comes true this month that it's going to happen in the summer? You see where I'm lost? See where I'm
Sure. No, I feel that. Yeah.
Hammerfell. I think.
But check this out.
Yeah.
If they told that person, hey, in the summer, I'm going to give you $1 billion, would that not also become the best month ever of the month that you got the news? Think about that.
What
about getting news that you're going to have a little baby? You know, something about.
Sure. Okay. Fair. I like that. We asked people watching live, of course, to go to kindoffunny.com/you're wrong to tell us what we screw up as we screwed up. And it turns out, no, Hugh Downs is also dead. 2020, he passed away.
Too soon.
No way. In 2020. He was the host of 2020 with Barbara Walters. Nostradamus. They called it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then Kebab... Yeah, it's a whole podcast beyond thing.
Okay, gotcha.
Kebab says, we missed news. Bloomberg has an investigation that reveals NetEase's games billionaire CEO is slashing game projects and hundreds of jobs and almost decided to not release Marvel Rivals at all whilst waiting on games to generate hundreds of millions. This is according to a Bloomberg report. We will look into that Bloomberg report, hopefully, for some Monday reporting. But if not, go read Bloomberg, everybody, and see what they're up to over there. For now, I'll remind you that this has been Kind of Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday, we run you through the nerdy video game news you need to know about live on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames, and podcast services around the globe. If you love what we do, please pick up that Kind of Funny membership. Of course, $10 gets you everything ad-free, gets the ability to watch the afternoon shows as we record them, gets your daily dose of me, Greg Miller, in a series I call Gregway. Of course, it just keeps the lights and mics on, though, because we couldn't do it without you. We are far from done. From here, we will go into the Kind of Funny GamesCast, talk about Joey's Elden Ring obsession, talk about everybody missing it. From there, we'll go to see Karl Jacobs in Kind of Funny Game Showdown, and then we'll be back with a sponsored stream of Yakuza. Now, Like a Dragon, Yakuza Pirate.
Like a Dragon, Yakuza Pirate in Hawaii.
Now, Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii.
Dang.
Yeah, you're close.
Dang it, I was close.
You're close. I appreciate it.
Yakuza. We have to Yakuza.
Oh, I'm saying yeah.
No, you're doing the coos. You're putting the.
So say it the way I'm supposed to say it.
Yakuza.
Yakuza.
No, there's too much. You're putting too much of the second syllable. First syllable only.
Yakuza.
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 Yeah, Yakuza.
Yakuza.
No. Damn it.
We'll get there. We got a lot of time. Showdown's pre-recorded. Andy will drill it into me at the table, everybody. For now, we're saying goodbye on Games Daily. If you're on YouTube, click the new link for the GamesCast. If you're on Twitch, hang out. If you're watching later, like, subscribe, share, pick up a membership. Go see Mike and Bless in Chicago. Go see me in Chicago in April at kindafunny.com/Chicago. Until next time, Chicago.
Chicago.
Chicago. Yeah.